All right, so welcome back for part three. So as you can see, I have laid out some streets here, and I'll go over what those are. And I did put the, kind of my version of the courthouse in there. It's better than the one maybe from last year. I think I skipped it all together last year when I made it because I just couldn't get it to come together right. But they did add a new building in there, and I'll show you that. Actually, I'll show you that right now. It's this old office government building, and then I just went in and duplicated it, extended the side of it, and then just did some layers around. So, feel free to build, whatever you like there, but I think that looks pretty decent. So since the end of the last video, I did finish out the remainder of the stand. So let me swoop in here. Um, so coming around, to the right field side, as I said before, you are going to have some overlap, but having it in this corner isn't too bad, especially with the overhang of the decks. But getting this angle right, so these are basically straight onto the field or staring, looking right down on the field. That's an important thing. So we do have the bullpens in here. So we use the classic field end cap. So even though I use the modern field stands for the bottom, I am going to use the classic end field cap just to keep the green in there because that'll look nice with the rest of the stands. And then we do have a slightly elevated set of stands out here. So there is a little bit of a jump there, but again, create this nice gap for the bullpen. We'll close that off after when we start putting the finishing touches on the stadium. And then you can see just basically want to work around the outfield wall here. They're not going to be able to be tucked in too tight, but wanted to get some decent flow, and again, not creating too much in the way of overlaps or problems or whatever. So you can see that this does kind of jut back here, so it's not perfect, but pretty darn good. So coming around here, this set of stands, it's going to be basically a mirror image of the other side. Although we do have a little bit of a different kind of play on this over here. It comes straight back behind this wall. Obviously, Yankee Stadium didn't have this, triangular shape of gap in there, but that's what we have to deal with the bullpens on field like that. So, got the gap here though for the bullpen in the left field stands, and then again slightly elevated with the wall that's dropping. And I actually got to fix this because this wall should actually start to drop starting right here as opposed to starting right there. So we'll get a little bit longer of a drop, but all in all, it looks pretty decent. So the other thing that I like to do once I get the base of the stadium laid like this is I like to do get the roads put in as well. So taking a look at taking a look at the aerial maps or road map of the area. This road right here, this is River Ave. So River Ave runs right along the back of the stadium. There's actually an elevated subway that goes right over the top of River Ave. That's a little difficult to duplicate. There's nothing really that great in here. I don't think you really lose much by doing that. This road back here, this is 161st Street. So that is actually the address of the stadium was on 161st Street. So this runs along, kind of, goes out past the center field wall and right up past the courthouse. And then from there, we've got the Grand Concourse. That's this double lane out here. So that's about as far back as I'm going to go. And then in between, we had River. I want to say Gerard. I think this is Gerard Ave and then Walton Ave. So, so I want to get the streets laid out. That way, when we start to put in buildings, it's, you'll be able to start to see some stuff, right? Because there's certainly, there's going to be some viewable stuff beyond the outfield wall here. Back here doesn't really matter because this will all be covered by the stands in the outer part of the stadium. But here we want to make sure that we get this right. So you get the streets laid out. and you can start to put some buildings in. And then this is actually a big park. So we'll put some, put some grass in there and put some trees in there. But the kind of the centerpiece, if you will, of the skies of the skyline, if you will, from Old Yankee Stadium, was getting this courthouse in there. So if we get down on field level and take a look, beyond the outfield wall, it's okay, right? I'm not in love with it. I wish they just had the courthouse to put in there. But it actually, you'll start to see the depth of it as well as we start to put in some smaller buildings in front. So let's do that, and then I'll kind of cut it after I get some of these buildings in here, and then we'll get started on starting to put the decks in and all that fun stuff. So first, there is a pretty sizable apartment building, and they have one that actually looks really, really good. It's one of the first options in the buildings menu. So we're just going to select on a dead area of our landscape here. And I got all these buildings turned backwards. But this is the one I want here. There's a pretty good sized building that's been there for a long time. Probably a little too tall, so just L1 and down on the left stick, and you can turn that. But put that guy right there, right along River Ave, and then just kind of do whatever you want to do, right? So there's some other apartment buildings that are down here that are very, very similar but lower. So we can put something like that right there, and then maybe we just do a long project style, if you will. So you can kind of scroll through and see what you like. Old brick apartments, so that might be cool to kind of just tuck right in here. And then again, you can kind of make this look however you want. So again, there's going to be some viewable stuff from inside the stadium. So periodically, I like to just come in here and check to see, what does this look like. And careful, by the way, is if you are going into the stadium and selecting stuff beyond the outfield walls. Sometimes it does something funky and it'll just whip you back around and it'll be looking at the backstop. But don't panic. You just hit keep changes and you're good to go. So you can see, you've got some stuff in the background there, right? We've got these buildings, we've got this big apartment building, and got a lot of this stuff is going to be cut off, so you won't even really see much of it because of the the decks that come around. But you just kind of lay buildings in here as you see fit. So I'll do a few more. Let's see here. I don't like that one. There's a couple that are just kind of older looking, that are I just kind of are go-tos for me. Even though they say like there's one that I think says hotel, or it is a hotel apparently. I like some of those. I like this triangular brick building, so maybe I'll stick that guy there. The factory buildings, these are ones I do like these a fair amount. So I'll take this one and maybe put that there. And one of the things I want to make sure is visible in here, and I'll go under the features, is the light tower. They got all this stuff in here now, all these battleships and all that fun stuff. So this particular water tower right here, I think that's the one that I like. Yeah, this one here. You don't have to make it. You don't have to set it on the roof. Obviously, it doesn't fit very well, but you can kind of just put it on there like that. But if you take a look at a view of Yankee Stadium from the 1960s, looking out beyond the wall, you'll see that up there. So a nice little touch in there. So you can start to see this come together, right? Just start to see a little bit of that skyline. If you want these buildings to be a little taller, just try to get your lines, lined up right. But there are some really, really cool looking buildings in here that you can make you can make your cityscape look nice. So I'm just going to go through and I'll build out, you know, the rest of these streets. I'll put this park back here. I don't know how much of the park you'll be able to see, but every once in a while in these cutaways, you see, you know, some decent views from outside the stadium. The other thing I wanted to do is start to get rid of this back here. Obviously, we can't cut pieces off, but one of the things that you know was kind of unique about Yankee Stadium was they did not have a building in the middle of the field, but you can. But we did have a lot of signs, you know. So those. Let me see if I can find the signs. There they are. So there were a lot of signs that were, you know, right in the right along the backside of the stands in the outfield, right? So you can kind of enclose this, right, and start to get a really nice, you know, nice look to, you know, the rest of the stadium. So we're just going to bring this all the way around these seats, link it up with the scoreboard, and then extend it down here to the edge of this bullpen here. We'll get our no betting sign out there. So that was something that was prevalent back then, which was pretty cool. So you just take these, and you know, every once in a while you pop one around, but for the most part, I mean, a lot of these are going to be just black. So I'll put this up here, and you know, the height looks pretty good. So I'll put that there like that, and maybe we want how about one of these guys in here. So keep we'll keep the look of this pretty consistent. We'll keep that turned, and we'll keep that black here. See if we can find another one. Maybe like an MLB The Show sign or something. What's this one? A play ball. That'll work. So we got that here. So go around the back side like that. And you'll see it does look like it's kind of cutting the stands off a little bit, but nothing too bad. I mean, it's not like they do zoom shots into the outfield, so nothing you got to worry about there. So again, I'll flip this around, and you know, just like Bob Ross, anywhere you want it. That sign lives here, just like that. All right. So I'll take this, and right about here, this sign. Again, if you take a look at one of those old pictures, this one's a little bit taller. So I love it. I love that they had that no betting sign in there. So we'll get this guy tied in like this. You know, we'll cut those fans right off there. How's that? So get them, tuck them in there like this. I am going to put a sign right in behind this. Right in behind the scoreboard, just so there's no, you can't see through. You can't see through that. You know, the bottom section of the scoreboard there. I just never liked it for whatever reason. So, again, personal preference, whatever you like to do there. And I'll get these lined up. Yeah, I'm rushing this a little bit, but I'll get this cleaned up. Actually, you know what we can do here is, oh no, we're going to leave this one like this. We'll leave that black. And you know what, instead of doing that, we can just move we'll make a group out of this, and we'll move this guy backwards like that. How's that? That's a little better. All right, and then maybe we take another sign. Let's see what we've got. Sure, how about a San Diego Studios sign on this side? And how about a Show 23 as well? And then we'll flip this one around, and we'll get that finished off. So again, the idea here is we want to create a you know, enclosure, if you will, in the stadium here. And then when you take a look around, so now you've got that nice closed feeling. I'm going to have to move this. I'll raise this one up over here. Maybe move the scoreboard down to get our no betting in. But you get this nice enclosure inside of Yankee Stadium, which they had, and then again, once these decks are in here, that'll really kind of get everything scaled out. But as you can see, you got these buildings in the background. You can just start to see the tops of them. You're just catching the top of this. I want to raise that a little bit. Just catching the top of that water tower there. So you get some really, really, just some realism to this thing. This guy might be a little low, so let's get a little height to that. So keep coming back to home plate because obviously the hitting is where you're going to see all this stuff. You just like to see little different levels here in the heights or in the in the well, I guess it's the the heights in Bronx, but. All right, so there's that. So I'll go in and fill out the remainder of these buildings, in these streets. Again, it's just nice to it gives it some depth, it gives it some character, and yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed that. But yeah, definitely my advice is to once you've got your lower the outer ring of your stadium put in, get your streets laid in. That way you can put in some buildings and you'll be good to go. All right. See you on the next one.